Well, the budget bill is trash, so it's getting real fash.
Yes, it is getting real fast, real fast. The breakdown.
Too fast. Oh,
too fast, too fast, too furious. The breakdown starts now.
Hey, Rick, I think fascism might be here. Is it here?
I think it's at least just the tip fascism.
Oh, I think it's the full. It might. It's on its way. Okay, guys, we're not going to do that today. I mean,
we're going to stop with that now. We're really going to be well behaved for the rest of the show.
I'm wearing a button-down shirt. It means we are serious. Like, fascism is here, and I'm dressed for it. I'm like, this is serious, Maya, now. No
I'm
jokes.
wearing a linen shirt, and it's partly unbuttoned, and I'm going to get reprimanded for it.
It's hot there.
He's already like, God damn it.
Yeah. Well, it's hot in Florida. It's hot in the streets in LA. It's hot in the press rooms, apparently. So we should just start off with the thing.
Yeah. I mean, let's start off with one of the most egregious things. And by the way, folks, when we say one of the most egregious things, this is a nation that is like pegging the egregious meter every day because of these assholes. But this one was really quite a remarkable moment today.
Guys, ready? And balancing. Sir, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your hands off.
How many of our ICE agents have been shot?
On the ground. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you let my hands go, I put behind my back.
All right. Cool. One hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
There's no recording allowed out here. I did not know. There's no recording allowed out here per FBI, right? So what? I'm sorry? There's no recording allowed out here. That's my boss. I have to. There's no recording allowed out here. You can record. There's no recording allowed out here. I'm not a member. There's no recording allowed. I understand that, sir, but.
There's a lot to unpack here, Rick. First of all, I don't think he's the kind of threat that they would need to throw on the floor and handcuff behind his back a sitting senator who has a right to ask questions about what ICE is doing in the state of California.
Yeah, he represents the people of California, and I want to express the degree to which DHS and Nome's people are lying about this. Like, he lunged the podium. Horseshit. He identified himself in the first 2 seconds in the room. These people they've gone way over the line. They have entered a space where they think that this administration can physically assault members of the United States Senate. This shit is not going to stand. And the idea of Trumpism protecting the bully boys and protecting its minions is one that they're very fond of it. These guys are all thinking, yeah, whatever, F off. If I do something wrong, Trump will pardon me. I put out a video earlier about this, Maya, but I want to remind these guys, whether you're FBI or DHS or federal protective or whatever you are, and you start physically assaulting people, including especially perhaps a United States senator, you are not going to get pardoned by Trump and get away with this. This is not where you want to be. This is not what you want to do. Now, maybe some of you do. Maybe some of you are that dumb. Maybe some of you are that contemptuous of America. But this has really pissed me off because cabinet members are not some sort of untouchable elite where they can't be held to account. He walked in that room, identified himself, and they dogpiled him. They assaulted him physically. This is Kristi Noem should resign immediately. She will not, of course. She should resign immediately. this department, DHS, needs to be purged and burned to the ground at this point. And while she was up there saying, "Oh, we're having to wear masks because our agents are getting doxxed," well, your agents are getting doxxed because they're engaged in illegal activity against American citizens.
Well, yeah, the idea that somehow the agents are the victims here, that's
I
what
know.
gaslighters do. The fact that she was even standing up on the stage as Senator Padilla was being dragged out of the room, and you could hear her not even skipping a beat.
Nope.
And talking about the poor agents who are being doxxed. And so this is the gaslighting that happens in an authoritarian regime. They will never admit fault. They are never going to come back and say, you know what, that was excessive use of force. We're actually going to relook at our procedures.
Right. We're gonna figure out how we can do this differently in the future.
The apologies that we're waiting for are never going to come. And so I think it's really important for people to understand, Rick, like this is a red line. This is something that, and you know what? So I'm here in California and I went to Paramount. I went downtown during the protests. One thing that's interesting to me is fascism will creep up on you. So we talked about it in the top of the show that like this is a distraction from all of the fact that the budget bill is trash. But I'm here in California, and I can tell you a lot of people don't need a distraction because they're out walking around like nothing's happening. This idea that all of Los Angeles is on fire, actually, no. People are at Home Goods in Nordstrom Rack right now. So it's time to wake up is part of my point here because fascism is here.
It is here, and it's kicking the door down. And look, I mean, and here's the thing. This week has been so full of these excesses that we're starting with just the thing that happened in the last couple of hours. Even more outrageous this week. It's hard to imagine how it can get more outrageous, but it does. Every hour, they are pressing harder and harder and harder on how they can make this country more paranoid. Because I say this a lot. The reason these troops are on the street, the reason active duty Marine Corps troops are on the street is to scare the shit out of you folks, the viewers right now. It's meant to scare you and silence you. And it is so insane that we've seen the National Guard called out over the objections of the governor. We've seen active duty Marines with 29 Palms called out illegally. We've seen a show this week at Fort Bragg where Trump has hand-selected supporters behind him from the military.
Yes,
the entire thing is absolutely going.
Well, they talk about political theater, right, Rick? Political theater. Political theater is saying you want only soldiers who are aligned with Trump's vision and soldiers who are thin, apparently, because they want fit soldiers in the camera line. That's political theater. The staging of things is political theater. And we actually have that clip if you guys haven't seen it yet.
In Los Angeles, the governor of California, the mayor of Los Angeles, they're incompetent.
Standards, accountability, readiness, training, warfighting, lethality. We're not a college or a university. We're not interested in your woke garbage and your political correctness.
For a little breaking news, we are also going to be restoring the names to Fort Pickett, Fort Hood, Fort Gordon, Fort Rucker, Fort Polk, Fort A.P. Hill, and Fort Robert E. Lee. We won a lot of battles out of those forts. It's no time to change.
The just excessive hatred for what America actually stands for is so palpable coming from.
Let's go back to renaming those forts for a bunch of traitorous people who got their fucking asses kicked in the Civil War.
Yeah, losers. So I
Losing.
guess that's par for the course for what this administration stands for, is losing, because I don't see America winning with any of this. And so that's the thing, taking it back to Los Angeles, nobody here is asking for this. Nobody is asking for this, Rick. Like people in LA, we love LA. Like, we hate the traffic, but nobody's walking around going, we need to get rid of all of these undocumented immigrants, because undocumented immigrants form a part of our communities. Most people know someone who is undocumented or has somebody who is undocumented in their family. It's just a part of our lives here.
But it's not just there. Look, it's the same story in Florida. We in Florida, there are crops rotting on the ground right now, and crops that will be rotting on the ground all summer, and crops that will never get harvested, because Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump and DHS have pushed out farm workers from this state. There are homes ain't getting built because they have started to round up people. They have taken 250,000 Venezuelans and Cubans and sentenced them to death by sending them back to Cuba and Venezuela. And this is an American story. Los Angeles is 40% of the people in Los Angeles are immigrants.
Yeah.
And you know what? The city is not the blasted hellscape of criminals that Kristi Noem wants to pretend that it is. It's a place where people have made lives for generations. And I think that what's so shameless about all of this crap from them is they all know the truth. Mm-hmm. And they all know that in this country we have a very tiny fraction of these people are criminals. Yeah. There's a higher fraction of people who are native-born Americans who are involved in criminality by a long way. And I want to talk about one of the people that's really actually become a star in this, or bigger star, I guess, is Gavin Newsom. Because when Sarah Huckabee Sanders this week tweeted out, Los Angeles is a hellscape, California's all criminals, Gavin Newsom just popped her right in the jaw with your state has a higher murder rate per capita than ours.
Like, metaphorically speaking, y'all, metaphorically.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's absolutely right. And I'm glad you brought up, though, going back to the immigrants being a part of our communities. Like, this is absolutely devastating the local economies. Like, the fact that people aren't showing up at work sites, showing up at farms. This is having economic consequences, and
like crazy everywhere.
And economists have already said this. Like, they have said that mass deportation is going to take a huge hit to the economy, and that integrating immigrants is what actually helps grow our economy. And a lot of this, and so this article here is about Stephen Miller not being able to find enough gang members to round up because there just aren't that many. It was all fabricated lies throughout the campaign and before. And so instead they're like, hey, just go round people up at Home Depot, which is so freaking insane to me, Rick, because these are people who are doing, like, helping people out with DIY projects that they shouldn't have even started in the first place. and so it's like, these are not people who that anybody has any fear of.
Maya, this is exactly, though, these people on the MAGA side of this equation in our country live in a curated reality. Mm-hmm. And Fox News tells them every day, the brown people want to kill you. They'll make your children speak another language. They'll eat your dog. All of this shit.
All without evidence. All without any actual reality.
Again, it is a purely curated imaginary world that they live in. And it was funny because my Republican friends will remember there was a thing that they used to say in the Republican Party back during Obama. It was like, we live in the reality-based community. No, you don't. You live in Rupert Murdoch's fever dream, and this idea that this country is in danger from people who want to come here, who pay taxes they will never get back. These people come here and work in jobs that Americans don't want to do. And you know what? I do not see. There's a lot of these MAGA guys who are now realizing, farmers especially, like, oh my God, the people that pick our crops are not here. We're fucked. And I do not see red-hatted guys pulling up in their Ford F-350 saying, you know what I'd love to do? I'd love to do about 12 hours of stoop labor in the hot sun for $7 an hour.
Yeah, we're not going to see that.
I don't see that.
Yeah.
Weird.
As a matter of
Weird.
fact, and I saw one video on TikTok that went viral about a construction worker talking about the fact that it's even hard to put together crews. So this is actually hitting workers who were born in America. U.S. citizens are having their income be impacted because there's not enough of a crew to even show up to work. So
they have fucked around, and now they are finding out.
And unfortunately, we are all finding out at the same time. And so the thing that sparked the unrest in LA, they keep wanting to try to tell us that it's these violent protesters, etc. But it was ICE going in and raiding restaurants, raiding Home Depot, in treating these people like they're violent thugs, treating them the way they treated Alex Padilla. Because can you imagine, which, to go back to what you were saying before about the fact that they want us to feel fear, if this is what they're going to do to Senator Padilla with cameras rolling, this is absolutely...
That was one of the amazing parts of it, is like, they didn't even care.
No.
And I will say this, I've said this a couple of times now, these guys that are knocking down a U.S. senator, assaulting him physically, I get that they feel very confident right now that no matter what they do, Donald Trump will pardon them and Kristi Noem will promote them and blah, blah, blah. Y'all, there will be a moment of reckoning. And I know they don't believe it. I know these people think, oh, that could never happen. Trump will pardon us. We'll be fine. I got to tell y'all, if I were in their position, I would get a lawyer and I would get myself squared away in that regard, because when this thing goes south on them, and it will go south on them, Maya, there will be a moment where Trump, as I said today, walks out on the East Lawn and that 5,000th Big Mac says, hey, today's your day. and he's gone, and they're not going to be in the same world anymore. They're not going to be in the world where they have this permission structure from Trump to be their worst selves and to assault American citizens and to arrest people without a warrant, without declaring their identity. They're not going to be they're not going to be in that same position. And it's going to really surprise some of them that they're going to have civil liability. They're going to have criminal liability. They're going to have a lot of people in this country that they have harmed very, very much. And they're going to face a reckoning that they think is impossible right now. Well, they think it can't happen to them.
And part of it is because I think they truly feel like they're going to be in power forever, because they're acting as if they are beyond reproach. And
that's right.
And this is why it's so important for them to remember their oath. I'm seeing a lot more videos, a lot more people from the military speaking out and saying, yeah, I have an oath to the Constitution, whether it be the federal or state constitution. And if I'm going to be asked to violate my oath, I'm going to conscientiously object. And so I think it's more important.
I do think we're going to see more people. There's a brilliant article, folks. I really recommend it on Dan Barkoff's Substack. Dan is a friend of ours. He's a former Navy SEAL, Naval Academy graduate, Harvard-educated doctor. He's an absolutely amazing character. Dan wrote an article today about, he became a Navy SEAL just before 9/11. And by just before, I mean, he was at Buds during 9/11. And Dan's approach to this, I think, is really valuable for us to think about, because he talks about duty. He talks about the absolute sacred duty that military officers swear to the Constitution. And folks, I want to say it again 100 times. It's not to Trump. It's not to the president. It wasn't an oath to Joe Biden or to Barack Obama. It's an oath to the country.
Mhm.
And if you start to dishonor that, and you begin to behave like that doesn't matter, and you begin to behave like you're above that, or that some imaginary emergency is so powerful that you can't follow your oath, resign.
Thank you.
You're not right. You're not honoring you're not following the law or your oath or your honor. And it really is. I mean, Maya, it really is one of these things we've seen this week over and over and over again.
Well, and the rule of law matters, Rick, only if the government also follows the rule of law.
Correct. The rule of law is supposed to apply to everybody, including it protects your rights as well as bounds the power of government.
Right. And that's what they want is lawlessness, so that they can have an excuse to crack down. And so seeing them make California an experiment, to see just how far they can push things, to see if they can incite some level of violence. And so we have a clip from the protest here. So I want to look at that.
Let's play that.
He's trash!
So I was down there and I just got chills. I was in Paramount and I was there filming, documenting, and Paramount was where the Home Depot was. And so they started moving towards us. We were just standing there, just filming. And all of a sudden, they just, for no reason whatsoever, and we were far outnumbered. There was something maybe 300 law enforcement officers and maybe like 10 or 12 journalists and content creators. And all of a sudden, they just started moving towards us, aggressively screaming, shouting, back up, back up. And one person ended up backing up into a tree. It created chaos. And so what they do, a similar thing happened in downtown LA, where I'm down there and there's families down there. There's kids down there. I was down there with my daughter. Like it was very peaceful in many, many, many ways and in many different places around downtown LA. Unfortunately, there are small pockets where violence did erupt, but there were also pockets where police were exacerbating it. And I saw that happen over and over again. And it was shocking to me, even though very few things shock me anymore. But I was like, you can see that we're all like, there were families here.
I keep saying this. There are people in many police departments who look at this as look at their job now through this weird ideological Trumpian lens. I think that is so dangerous to this country. I think it is so risky for this country. And again, this is dishonoring whatever oath they swore to serve.
Mm-hmm.
This is not Donald Trump's military. It is not his local or state police force. It is not his National Guard. These things belong to the people of the United States. They are not part of Trump's administration. And a lot of them do seem to be, I think, a little obscenely excited about playing this game of we're the tough guys and we're going to show you libtard protesters just who's boss.
Yeah, and that's what we're seeing, and this is the politicization of our law enforcement, and it's putting. I interviewed the other Senator Padilla, California State Senator Padilla, yesterday on Punching Up, and he talks about how it's putting a lot of law enforcement officers in a very difficult place because they're obviously trying to feed their families, and are now put in a place where they're being asked to violate,
to break the law,
to break the law, and then to have to sleep on the floor while doing it.
Right. That's just that was so on brand. Hey, we're going to put you in a morally terrible position. We're going to make you do things that you definitely don't want to do. And also we're going to make you sleep on the floor.
Like it's bonkers. This you want, and you want to talk about the waste of resources. They talk about waste, fraud, and abuse. Sending in the Marines, taking over the National Guard. I think the bill on this, Rick, was like what, $134 million.
$134 million, and the big beautiful bill just cut getting rid of mold in the barracks across the various military services. Just cut that. It was about a $30 million bill to get rid of mold that's making our soldiers sick. But we can spend $134 million to play fuck around in Los Angeles.
And here's the thing. They're doing it to make people afraid, like you said. But what I'm seeing is people aren't afraid. We're pissed. People are angry.
I think this is something that we have underscored so far in this whole fight. People are furious. They are not playing this game on the terms of that Trump wanted. There are people more and more who are like, not only not in my name, not in my neighborhood, but get the F out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're helping immigrants, legally. They're helping them stay out of the sights of ICE. And
well, in communities where you might not expect it, like I believe that it was Carol from the diner that they snatched. I think it was in Missouri.
Yep.
That, these are people, it's a town that voted for Trump, and they're like, but he told us he was going to go after criminals, not Carol.
Right. And look, we're seeing this everywhere now because there aren't that many gang members. This is the Stephen Miller weird fantasy. Look, I wish that girl at Duke had said, "Fine, Stephen, I'll sleep with you," because it has traumatized him so much and for so many years that we're playing out, folks. There's an article about Stephen Miller that the origin story of all of this bullshit is he couldn't get laid at Duke, that he was obsessed with this Latina girl and she said no. And we're playing out a psychodrama in Stephen Miller's life. It is amazing and yet horrifying. But look, all of these.
This is why I think everything can be solved if people would sleep with sad white guys. That's just generally. There just needs to be a force of people willing to sleep with sad white guys.
Right. It's like incel aid. Listen, I'll tell you what. I'm going to throw a handy your way if you'll stop hanging out on that racist Discord this week.
Did you say incel aid? I can't. That's really funny.
Talk about poster. They've got this new like Nazi adjacent poster, like report the illegals, and I'm like, hand jobs for incels.
I think it would work, to be honest with you. I think it's a worthwhile investment. Somebody go fund me that.
Here's the greatest irony of this thing. So DHS puts this poster up, right? And they're trying to like play the Uncle Sam thing. But let's show folks where it came from. Oh, from White Landia.
That sounds
is so subtle, Maya. I don't know. I'm having trouble figuring this out.
Yeah, suspiciously racist on that one.
Racist, but
just to be sure,
Mr. Robert, the guy that posted it. Oh,
that redacted.
What could that word be?
That redacted part is very. I don't. Who knows what? I know Drake can't say it. That's all I know is about that word.
And I'd also like to point out that that tounge is not a word. It may rhyme with lounge, but it's not a word.
Your tounge is owned.
Your tounge is owned.
Like, there's two things I won't trust. People who
I promise you, by the way, this guy for all the tough talk, I promise you, this guy is not the mom's basement guy. This guy is some middle-aged, pissed off bro who's like a insurance adjuster in the suburbs of Indianapolis who has created his online edgy white race-aware presence. So fucking boring.
Yeah, no, ridiculousness.
And he wonders why his wife has never had an orgasm.
Again, send in incel aid. It literally
Incel aid.
can just anything. But the
Take
big,
one for the team, ladies.
yeah, but yeah,
All right,
It
you can see a
does.
cat's butt in the corner of my screen. Wait, hold
it
on.
absolutely does have something to do
Elton.
with.
Look
the
at
way-
Elton. Look at him. He's a mighty hunter.
Oh, cutie pie.
Elton. Elton.
I think Elton has a hearing problem.
No, Elton. Elton doesn't know the horrors. No, he does not.
Elton doesn't want to know the horrors.
Elton's like,
I'm
I
outta
just
here."
want to be innocent. I just want to hunt birds and lizards.
But we're laughing right now because otherwise we lose our freaking minds. But like the casual bigotry that's coming out of the administration, like Mike Johnson, speaking about Gavin Newsom, had the nerve to say, I think we have the clip. We've got the. Do we have the clip?
Speaker Johnson, the president said, possibly in jest, that if he were Tom Homan, he would arrest Gavin Newsom. Do you believe that Newsom should face consequences in a legal way?
That's not my lane. I'm not going to give you legal analysis on whether Gavin Newsom should be arrested, but he ought to be tarred and feathered. I'll say that. I mean, look, he's.
So, law not his lane, but bigotry is. Like, that is an insane comment to come from a lawmaker. Tarred and feathered. You want to talk about instigating political violence? We haven't talked about stochastic terrorism in a long time.
It's been a minute, hasn't it?
But we need to bring that back up because the fact that this is the Speaker of the House, Rick. Like, what the?
I got to tell you, Maya, this is, again, one of those things that if you had anyone on the other side of the equation say anything even vaguely in the ballpark of the vicinity of this, the right would go into a giant hissy fit. For instance, if you write an article called Kill Tesla, Save America, the right goes into a shit fit where they tweet there were over 4,000 tweets about that said something to the effect of, Rick Wilson must be arrested. Kill Rick Wilson. Like the craziest shit you've ever seen in your life. I had somebody collate it for me and I was like, these drama queens, the party that's like, fuck your feelings, they're the most delicate snowflake flowers you've ever seen in your life. They're so like, oh, my fainting couch is calling me. But this is a practice, folks, that often resulted in the deaths of people who were tarred and feathered. It goes way back, but the last group of people in America that did tarring and feathering, I don't know if most people are KKK with this, but it was the KKK.
As it was, yeah. And here's the thing, Rick, the quiet part out loud is deafening at this point. Like my Apple Watch, where it says like it gives the whole noise, like, oh, it's going off every other day now, because they've made it very clear from Pete Hegseth down to Mike Johnson is that they're a bunch of racists who want to make America white again. And the rest of us are supposed to just shut up and take it. Like the rest of us are just supposed to say, oh, it's not our America too. It's not our flag too. It's not a country that we contributed to the building of and to the continued improvement of. We're just supposed to be like, oh, okay, here you go. No, absolutely not. And so that's why I'm excited about the not the parade, the protest.
Look, this weekend the No Kings protests are going to be around the country, and the Republicans are flipping out because they're like, oh, these are more violence. We must deploy the military. Y'all, let's be very clear about something. The missile parade is what you should be concerned about. The Kim Jong-un erectile dysfunction cure for Donald Trump is what you should be thinking about. He is doing something that's one more step over the Rubicon, one more step into the darkness by saying, "Oh, we're going to have a parade in my honor for my birthday of tanks and flyovers of fighter planes and 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 troops marching past me." Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin, Xi in China, the fucking Ayatollahs, they're the ones who have missile parades. American presidents will sometimes go to a parade in honor of the military where it is conducted to welcome them home from a war or a conflict, to honor their heroism. But this is Donald Trump trying to suck up heroism and suck up masculinity and suck up strength that he never had. The Bone Spur King, the hero of the Battle of Studio 54, the conqueror of Syphilis Mountain in 1975, Donald Trump, never went in the military, never served, but he wants to adopt their strength and suck in their honor by association, and it is disgusting.
Yeah, this is like in the art of war, pretend to be strong where you are weak. It feels like that's a lot of what is happening. And as part of his weakness, his little crybaby weakness, is to tell people that protests will be met with great force.
Great
What?
force.
This is America, sir. We have the clip in case you haven't seen it.
Celebrating big on Saturday. We're going to have a lot of, and if there's any protester wants to come out, they will be met with very big force. By the way, for those people that want to protest, they're going to be met with very big force. And I haven't even heard about a protest, but, you know, this is people that hate our country, but they will be met with very heavy force.
He said it 3 times like he's glitching.
Well, he is glitching, Maya. That is one of the things about Trump that is a true fact. He is glitching. He's there. Like the Trump software is basically like running Windows 3.1 on a modern computer. It is not there.
Yeah. It's like tripping up the stairs and going, protesters will be met with great force, with great force. Exactly. And honestly, what I would love, what I've been meditating for, and what I've been using my sound bowl for is I'm like, maybe one it'll rain on his parade because it is projected to rain, but that could possibly not be true because of the fact that NOAA has been completely gutted, like the people who make those forecasts.
It might rain, it might not. We might as well at this point throw like sheep guts on the ground and try to scry the augury of what is coming to us.
But I like in my heart, like deep down, like in my heart of hearts, I'm like, wouldn't it just be great if like they arrest him at his parade? Like I would love it if like somebody was like, you know what? We've had enough, and somehow they just drag him off the stage. Like, does that happen ever?
Getting the hook. I mean, look, at some point you're going to have JD Vance getting those phone calls from Peter Thiel and David Sachs and all the other tech bros going, "Come on, dude, 2.5, baby, 25th Amendment. Let's do it. Come on, let's do it. We can take him out."
Because as all of this visceral violence is happening and this chaos, behind the scenes, you have Palanteer. I was just up in San Francisco and there were these, it's Palanteer. Like
now we're in business.
Now, hello. Their tagline was technology that dominates. AI that dominates. We all need cats, actually. I want a comfort cat. Everybody, if you need, we need to bring comfort pets back.
This is my comfort cat.
I don't have a comfort cat, and I kind of need one.
He's a mighty tiger.
I need a comfort cat. I brought my cat with me to college, Rich. I don't know if you know this. I snuck my cat into my college dorm.
I salute this.
And I mean, like I had done my senior pictures with my cat. Like I kid you not, like just me holding my cat. So
I'm just going to say this to the editing staff. Whitney, find it.
It's out there. It's out there. Me and Blinky, great cat. But
I had a girlfriend my first year at George Washington who had a cat named Diva, and Diva briefly came to live in my dorm room. And my South Korean roommate did not like Diva. He was terrified of that cat. He was always like, he's like, it sits on my bed and stares at me. When I am sleeping, the cat is looking at me as if it wants to take me. I'm like, no, you're fine with the cat. But
I was gonna say, this reminds me of the Stephen King. What's the one in the Cat's Eye, the trilogy? But it was the troll that was stealing the breath, not the cat.
right. It's not. It's the cat version of Cujo.
Oh,
Well, my grandmother would say it like with dead serious. She'd be like, "That cat will suck the breath out of that baby. You must not allow that cat in the room. It will suck the breath out of the baby. It will kill that child."
the cats are our protectors. That's what I'm gonna say. Did we cover? Oh wait, a viewer. Let's see. Oh,
Let's know your thoughts about Elon sucking up to Trump again.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
You know what Trump loves more than anything is humiliating people. So he probably has been like, "Oh yeah, Elon, come back in." He's fucking Ike Turner, people. Tina, I love you, baby. I'm sorry. Come on back. Come on back. He will always humiliate and fuck with and abuse people. And I mean that in the full spectrum of abuse.
But I also wonder what in the world Trump's team must have said to Musk, other than we'll take away all of your contracts, that would make him come crawling back like this. Because I don't feel like it was money alone. I feel like money alone couldn't have, because how do you go from you're a pedophile and
you're a pedophile and I won the White House for you to please take me back, Daddy.
I regret some of my which
right. I regret some of the wording I used when I called you a pedophile.
Okay. But here's the thing, guys. The tech takeover is a reality, right? You have Palanteer putting together this immigration OS. You have American Airlines and several other, I don't know if anybody saw the Wired article, a bunch of airlines have a company that apparently is selling manifest data to, and not just like old, but new, like currently.
Right.
Ability to track domestic flights and who is on them. That means me. That means you. That means anybody who's flying domestically. CBP can track us. And so the privacy-minded folks, the true conservatives out there, should be up in arms
Tell me more, Pocket Constitution guys.
But like this idea, like the tech takeover is coming, and we have a clip, and I first saw you. I saw you post it, Rick, and we have a clip, and it is time to get skeptical about what you see online and to teach digital
100%.
literacy, because some of this stuff is a little mind blowing.
Why are you rioting? I don't know. I was paid to be here, and I just want to destroy stuff. Is what you are doing illegal?
Well, these are peaceful protests. Even that guy over there says so.
Like the turbocharged AI and its ability to dupe people who aren't media savvy. I mean,
it is. I think we are, guys, as good as that was. I think this is the very, 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 very first tip of this stuff. I think it's the tiniest fragment of the first fraction of this stuff. It is going to get so bad.
Yeah. And once people can't trust their own eyes, right? Like that is where we get into really tricky territory, which is why coming together in person is so important. Yep. Building community in person is so important, because only by doing that do we remember that, yes, immigrants are a part of the fabric of our country and help things move, help things run. We can't do this without each other. And so this whole life perpetually online, and I am perpetually online, but I'm also perpetually out in the world trying to connect with people. Sure. It helps us remember our humanity. And what they're doing right now is trying to strip us of our humanity. They're trying to normalize fascism. They want our brains to incorporate it and accept it and just understand, oh yeah, sure, senators get tackled all the time.
Of course there should be troops in the street.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't there be?
Yeah.
It is a dark time, but I will say this. I think people are pushing back
Mhm.
I think Gavin Newsom did himself and America a lot of good this week
Mhm.
by getting into a posture where he was fighting Trump on the social media space that Trump thinks he owns.
Mhm.
And Newsom did a good job. I got to give him credit. He did a good job this week on pounding away at the bullshit that is inherent in a lot of the theater being conducted by Trump and his team in LA.
Yeah, he's being very strategic, very tactical in his response, and he's managed to bring together California in a way. I mean, this is a governor who there was a recall.
Yeah, there were a lot of people. Believe me, this is not, folks. This is surprising to many. Let me phrase it that way.
Yeah, no, it's incredibly surprising how people have come, especially because he had Steve Bannon on his podcast. He had some missteps.
Yeah, he went out and did some of the like bro podcasts. Like maybe I could, hello, fellow kids.
I'm a part of the manosphere. I'm a man. Perhaps you will see when I run in 2028 that I too
am a manly man.
Yes, and I'm like, okay, settle down now.
That'll do, Chief.
but no,
he's put Trump on defense. He's made Trump go crazy. He's made Trump like stay locked in the tweet hole about him. And look, there was a sense that Trump might arrest him. And I think that moment may have passed. I'm not sure, but it's certainly right now, Newsom has had as equaled or bettered Trump in the last week.
Oh, absolutely. Which is, I think, part of this with Senator Padilla today is probably because of that. Because every time you push back against a strong man, they're going to try to exert their power.
Correct.
And this is why we have to continue to speak up. And I think it's important now for the apolitical folks in our lives, the people who are at, Home Goods right now shopping, for them to start to contribute to the democracy that they benefit from by staying engaged and staying informed. And I know it can be very challenging for many people to have to focus on politics, and they're very cynical.
And you hate it. We get it.
We get it. Exactly. I'm like, you think I want to be doing this all the time?
Yeah, believe me.
But the fact of the matter is, only if we do it, the reason they think they have a mandate is because not enough people stood up and said, no, we don't want any of this. They thought that some of the rest of us would take care of it. But this is a group project. And so now I need the apolitical folks to get off the couch and get out into the street.
That is correct.
With their American flags, if you got them. If you don't, go out and get them. Fly them upside down, because we're in distress.
Yep.
SOS.
And believe me, when Republicans flip out about your American flag being flown upside down, during the Biden administration, during the Obama administration, they did it all the time because they thought, oh, we're in distress. These communists are clearly coming to take over the means of production. Didn't exactly work out that way. It was just, it was only the economic prosperity that they were mistaking for communism.
I missed that.
Right? God bless them.
Yeah.
Well,
guys,
what else do we have on the docket here tonight?
I think we covered. I feel like we've covered everything. I think what we do just need to say, though, is like this stuff is all happening at such a rapid pace that, and this weekend I think is a critical weekend.
Someone just sent the message about Newsom that our narcissist is hot.
He is.
He's a hot guy. I mean, look, somebody said today, like,
Daddy.
are you jealous of his beautiful head of hair? I'm like, yes. And even when I had hair, I didn't have that hair.
Yeah, he's an attractive man, and we got him. He's ours. So,
folks, stay vigilant this weekend. I'm encouraging folks to go out to the Kings rally. No Kings rallies. I'm going to do that myself in Tallahassee. But I'm encouraging you guys to be careful.
Yes.
Don't be provoked. And take some steps. Be sure you're prepared. Like, make sure you go into these things with some caution. Because you will. The other side is trying to provoke a lot of this shit. But show your face. Go out there. Be strong.
Yeah, there's strength in numbers, guys, and don't for the instigators out there, because I mean, why do you think he pardoned the J6 rioters? It's so
one quick pro tip: if you're going to a protest that it might get whatever, write your contact number in Sharpie on yourself somewhere, on your arm or something, or your hand. Never hurts. You never know. People, even in this day and age, people get lost in the shuffle. So be careful.
Yes.
All right.
Be safe. Hydrate and
hydrate.
Hydrate.
I learned a trick today, a flying trick today from an old hand. We're flying. It's about 100,000 degrees in Florida, and so every half hour you swap fuel tanks in my plane. Okay, you change the fuel tanks. He goes, "Why don't you hydrate every half hour when you're flying? It'll keep you. It becomes a little ritual, because otherwise you're going to lose it, especially in Florida, man. It gets brutal. So anyway, but enough aviation content. That's going to be for my private YouTube channel.
It's like the private chat.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in, guys.
We will see y'all next week. Remember, what part of No Kings does Donald Trump understand? All of it. Oh, no show next week. Oh, I'm on the road next week.
On the road? Okay.
I'm roading. No show next week.
Okay.
But week after, we'll be back.
We'll be back.
Reporting live from the Eastern Liberty Zone.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's going to be a lot to cover.
So much. All right. Thanks, everybody. We love you.
Good night.